Hello, hi, it's just your friendly neighborhood black girl. I'm back once again after a while. The world is metaphysically, I don't know if that's a word, metaphorically and physically, I put the two together, metaphorically and physically on fire. And in some ways, I'm like, great, yes, expose, the biases that are in every single system that exists because for some reason, y'all still thought that racism was gone. I don't know where you were living, I don't know what you were doing, but for some reason you thought that racism was gone, and it's not. So today I thought I'd talk about something that I love that also has an extremely high bias, which is film. I love pop culture, I love film. My minor's in media and cinema studies, and then I have a double major in like pop culture studies. So yeah, I really like that kind of stuff, but film has always been inherently biased towards white European film. Always been a thing. So I thought today I would talk about my 10 favorite black films. That way you could watch them, get a little bit of the culture in there. I'm pretty sure there's a majority of these that you haven't seen, and if you haven't, you need to get on it right now and watch them because they're absolutely incredible. I tried to have films that included black directors only. But there's one that isn't going to have a black director, but the rest of them will. Um, and yeah, it's just going to be a fun video about me talking about my favorite top 10 black films. I hope you enjoy. I also want to say that these aren't necessarily in order, so don't take the ranking too seriously because I love them all equally, so you're just going to get what you're going to get. The first thing on this list is Get Out. Yes, I love Get Out. I'm a big fan of classic Hollywood horror. I like the horror that's spooky and eerie but not scary, and Get Out is its own nightmare fuel inducing movie, but for many different ways. So Get Out came out in 2017. It's directed by Jordan Peele, and how I would describe it, it's about a person who is in an interracial relationship, and they go to, I believe it's Connecticut, to visit her family, and it's all about the things that black people experience in when visiting white people, and the whole I'm not racist, I voted for Obama, that type of thing, but deep down there's this deep-seated racism that happens, and it's just aesthetically it's gorgeous. It is a horror film, it's black horror. Someone described it to me as a black person's nightmare mixed in within a white person's nightmare, which is kind of a great way to frame it because white liberal people hate the word racist, they don't want to be called racist, but some of them need to be called out, and Jordan Peele brilliantly does that. I love it. I think it's an incredible film. And one thing that I do want to say about all the films on this list is that I feel like the ratings for films are incredibly biased. I mean, Get Out has a 77% or 7 out of 7 on IMDb. I don't understand how. I really don't, and a lot of these films have lower ratings than their white counterparts, and I just want to say that the rating system is very biased, and it is incredibly unfair, and I don't like it. So don't take any of these films by their rating value because you're not gonna find anything satisfactory if you do it by that. Up next is Boot Riley's Sorry to Bother You. This is such a weird film. It came out in 2018. It's like a satire, fantasy, science fiction. I would almost describe it as a Scott Pilgrim-esque film, but black. How Scott Pilgrim has that weird comic book type of feel. I'd say that Sorry to Bother You kind of has that, and the plot is just crazy. But it's a film that I absolutely love. I can't even begin to describe to you the plot. I think that's something that you might just have to watch on your own. But it does include something about black people and their white voice, and that's the voice that you put on when you want to be everything that America embodies, when you want to be better than better, when you want to be the desire that all white people like, and I really like that commentary. There's lots of commentary in the film, and I can't guarantee that you're going to get the film on first viewing, but it's really interesting and something that I really haven't seen film do in a really long time. So if you have a chance, check out Sorry to Bother You. Oh, also, it has Tessa Thompson in it, which we love. She's got fantastic earrings in it that are like super natural. They're super cool. And I mean, I love a good earring session. So, yeah, that also really makes it up on this list. Number 3 on this list, of course, is Moonlight. Moonlight was directed in 2016, and it did win Best Picture at the Oscars. However, I do feel like its winning was a little snubbed, as usual. If you don't know about that controversy, you can look it up. But yeah, it was directed by Barry Jenkins, and it has the most gorgeous aesthetic that I've seen in a film. I would say that sometimes the color palette kind of contrast to what Get Out is, with there's lots of like blues and purples and hues, but like the way that Moonlight lights black people and loves to show them, and like it's gorgeous. Like the ending will make you cry. It's incredible. One of the best films that I've seen in a really long time. If I could have a poster of Moonlight, I would. But basically, Moonlight is about this kid who's black, and it chronicles his life from childhood to adulthood, and in those, you know, he has his own fair share of struggles, but the way that it's talked about is so refreshing as far as a black film. Like, it's not like, oh, this kid, he's in poverty, oh, you know, the typical thing. While he does face those things, there's something that's just presented as is, and it's really fun just to see a film have something like that in it. Also, it is an LGBT film, which is not something that we get that often for black people in general. So, yeah, really stand Moonlight. I really do. Coming up next is I Am Not a Witch, which is directed by Rungano Nyoy. I just recently saw this film. I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. It uses like hyper realism and like abstract kind of art to convey its point. It's about a young girl who lives in Africa, like an African village, and she's branded as a witch. And basically, women who are branded as a witch can either choose to freely be witches that have ropes tied on their back to show them how far they can go, or goats. And it kind of chronicles what her decision is and kind of her exploits. Now, I do want to say that this film came out in 2017, and it is created by a black British woman. She's amazing, but I do want to say that this is not like authentic film to African tribe. Like, that's not what this film is. Don't take it as that. Don't take it as like a critique on African civilizations. Like, that's not what it is. It's a critique on misogyny in the Western view and the Western gaze. So I wouldn't look at it as authentic. I really don't like when people do that. Just take it for what it is. Take it at face value. It's a gorgeous film. It's beautiful, and I'm so happy to have like a black woman director on this list. I do have other ones, but we just need more black women directors. I'm gonna be honest about that. Coming in at number 5 is Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. Spike Lee, you know, has its fair share of controversies and things that I don't like about him, but I will say that Do the Right Thing is such a solid film. I watched it probably like my junior or senior year of high school, and I immediately fell in love with it. Not only is the color palette absolutely amazing and the allusions to heat and heat rising and anger rising, but also this is a film that is very relevant to right now. Even though it was made in 1989, still has a lot of relevancy. It's about this kid named, I believe his name is Mookie. Yeah, his name is Mookie, and he works at Sal's Pizzeria, which is this Italian-owned shop in the middle of a predominantly black and Latinx neighborhood. And clearly they have some unresolved issues because the person who runs Sal's Pizza says he's not racist, but he definitely says and does things that would beg to differ. And so it's about kind of this rising tension of what Sal's Pizzeria is and what this neighborhood is, and gentrification and police officers and cops, and like it all ends in this like explosion on screen. And it's gorgeous. It's like, I think it's one of Spike Lee's best films. I know he's had plenty of others. I know he has a recent film that just came out on Netflix, which I am going to watch. but Do the Right Thing is just incredible, and it packs punches. It's not gonna have everything that you like, and I appreciate a film like that. I mean, number 6, it's a given. It's Black Panther. That's right. Yes. You know, I have to put Black Panther on here. Directed by Ryan Coogler. It came out in, what, 2018? 2017? I didn't even research it because, like, there's no need for me to talk about Black Panther because obviously it's a cultural icon. If you have not seen Black Panther, like, you need to watch it. Even if you don't like Marvel films, I don't care. Watch Black Panther. No Black superhero has had this kind of send-off ever before. Like, Black Panther is actually a cultural phenomenon, which is something that we've never seen. Black people feel like they can connect with it. It's got some incredible costume design. It's got some incredible, like, it's got an incredible cast. Like, it's just got everything. It's amazing. I've seen Black Panther like 7 times at the movies. Like I said, and I was like, yes, Ryan Coogler, you will be getting my money today, 7 times, let's do it. Anytime a family member was like, oh, I haven't seen Black Panther, I was like, stop everything, we're going to the movies, we're going to watch Black Panther. I even have a Black Panther poster right here, so clearly I really do love the film. Now, I just want to say that just because I love this film doesn't mean that it's, like, not to be criticized, because there are things in the film that, could do. But, like, otherwise, I love Black Panther, and I think that everyone should, like, be able to enjoy it, because we really haven't had that kind of representation before. Number 8 on this list is an obviously classic. It came out in 1993, I believe, and it is called Poetic Justice. I mean, Janet Jackson and Tupac in one film, it's kind of amazing. You gotta love that. This film is just, like, such a nostalgic thing for me. I mean, I wasn't even born in 1993 yet, but I just remember, like, watching this film a lot as a kid and really loving Janet Jackson and her braids, and, like, it's just a really big film in the Black community, and if you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. I don't have anything to say about it, but just, like, it's great. It's Tupac. Now, before I get to number 10, I do want to include a honorary mention, just because I actually haven't seen this film. I know it's upsetting to me. I am watching it later on tonight, but it is Daughters of the Dust by Julie Dash. I mean, arguably this film is a very, very highly acclaimed Black film directed by a Black woman. It looks amazing. It seems amazing. It is everything that I want to watch. I'm kind of upset that out of all the film classes that I've taken, I've never been given this film as a required viewing, but I genuinely know that this film is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so number 10 was kind of hard for me because there's 2 films that I obviously love, but one film that I love, most people probably have never seen, and that is Polly, which was directed by Debbie Allen. If you don't know who Debbie Allen is, just look her up, Google her, you should know who she is. I don't know why you wouldn't. But anyways, Debbie Allen directed Polly, which is basically like the Black version of Pollyanna with, like, songs and stuff. And it has, like, Felicia Rashad in it. It's got Keisha Knight Plum, who was also on The Cosby Show. It's just got, like, some really fun young Black actors. And it was made on The Wonderful World of Disney. However, it's nowhere to be found on Disney+. So, I mean, I don't know if I need to knock on the doors of the Disney execs and be like, y'all need to do better about these Black films, because clearly they don't care. Also, Cinderella, the 1997 version, is also not on Disney+. So, I'm confused, Disney, as to what you're doing. However, I loved Polly. I would watch it all the time as a kid. I didn't even know that Pollyanna existed until I was, like, a year older, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. But this film is such a classic to me, and I grew up with it, and yeah, it doesn't have the best ratings. Again, ratings are biased, but I think it's so sweet, and I like seeing Black people do stuff, and, gotta love Debbie Allen. So if you can watch Polly, I believe that it's on YouTube for free, so if you want to watch it. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm hoping that you've seen a couple of these films at least, but if you haven't, get on it right away. You'll love them regardless if you're black. If you're not, you should still be watching these films. And I hope that you enjoyed me talk about some of my favorite black films, something to kind of uplift your day, uplift, the current climate, which is heavy but well needed. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.